On a cold night in 1714, a stranger crossed the sea to claim the most powerful throne on earth. He did not speak English. He did not understand the people, and the people did not want him. Yet this man would become King of Great Britain, and his arrival would silently change the future of democracy forever. This is the true story of King George I, the forgotten king whose weakness became a nation's greatest strength. George Lewis was not born in England. He did not grow up dreaming of the British crown. In fact, Britain was never meant to be his home. He was born on May 28, 1660, in Hanover, a small German territory within the Holy Roman Empire. His world was one of rigid discipline, military traditions, and German politics, far removed from the bustling streets of London. George was tall, serious, and emotionally distant. From a young age, he learned that power came not from love, but from control. His father, Ernest Augustus, was strict and ambitious. His mother, Sophia of the Palatinate, was intelligent, well-educated, and deeply connected to European royal bloodlines. It was Sophia's lineage, not George's talents, that would eventually carry him to the British throne. But no one knew that yet. George's early life was marked by scandal and cruelty. He was married to Sophia Dorothea, a woman he neither loved nor respected. Their marriage was cold, political, and deeply unhappy. Sophia Dorothea eventually fell in love with another man. When George discovered this, he did not respond with forgiveness. He responded with absolute brutality. Sophia Dorothea was accused of adultery, divorced, and imprisoned for the rest of her life in a remote castle. She would never see her children again. She would never walk free again. George never visited her, never spoke her name. This act revealed something chilling about the man who would become king. He ruled without mercy. Meanwhile, across the sea, England was facing a crisis. Queen Anne sat on the throne, but her reign was filled with tragedy. She suffered 17 pregnancies, and not one child survived to adulthood. The question haunted Britain. Who will rule next? The answer terrified Parliament. If the throne passed to a Catholic ruler, Britain feared civil war, foreign influence, and the collapse of Protestant power. So Parliament did something revolutionary. They chose the king themselves. Through the Act of Settlement, 1701, Parliament declared that only a Protestant could rule England. This law quietly reshaped the monarchy forever. And suddenly, far away in Germany, George's name appeared on a list. He was not British. He was not popular. But he was Protestant. That was enough. In August 1714, Queen Anne died. Within weeks, George boarded a ship and sailed to England. When he arrived, the people stared in disbelief. Their new king could barely speak English. He relied on translators. He misunderstood jokes, customs, and emotions. London whispered behind his back. Is this really our king? George felt no love for England, and England felt no love for George. So he did something unusual. He stepped back. Because George struggled with English politics, he allowed ministers to run the government. For the first time, real power shifted from the monarch to Parliament. A man named Robert Walpole rose to prominence. Walpole became what history now recognizes as the first Prime Minister of Great Britain. George trusted Walpole not because of brilliance, but because he kept order. And slowly, without bloodshed, Britain transformed. The king no longer ruled absolutely. The people's representatives did. This quiet shift laid the foundation for modern constitutional monarchy, a system that would later inspire democratic ideas across the world, including the United States. Ironically, George's weakness became Britain's strength. Not everyone accepted George. Supporters of the old royal bloodline, called Jacobites, rose in rebellion, attempting to restore the Catholic Stuart kings. In 1715, Britain stood on the edge of civil war. George responded with military force. The rebellion failed. His throne survived. Though he was distant, George proved one thing clearly. He would not surrender the crown. George never truly settled into British life. He hated English weather. He disliked English culture. He missed Hanover. Almost every year he returned to Germany, leaving Britain in the hands of ministers. The people mocked him. Cartoons portrayed him as greedy, foreign, and uninterested. But behind the scenes, Britain was stabilizing, trade expanded, Parliament gained authority, political institutions matured. George did not build Britain's future intentionally. He allowed it to happen. In 1727, while travelling to Hanover, George fell ill. On a lonely road far from London, the king collapsed. He died quietly. No grand palace, no dramatic farewell, just a foreign king, ending his life where he felt most at home. He was buried in Germany, not England. History remembers George VI as dull, distant, and uninspiring. But history also tells a deeper truth. Because George could not dominate politics, the people gained power. Because he stepped back, democracy stepped forward. His reign strengthened Parliament. It gave birth to the Prime Minister. It reshaped the monarchy forever. And across the Atlantic, these ideas would one day influence a new nation, the United States of America. Final words. The king who changed everything by doing nothing. George I never tried to be a great king. He never sought love. He never chased glory. Yet his silence echoed through centuries. Sometimes history is not changed by heroes, but by those who step aside and let the future rise.